Well, it's about gender equality,
Right.
Meeting business. So this year's theme was basically looking at that, equality, innovation,
Right.
for linking gender equality and business and doing business. So it has been accustomed now through research, proven experiences that the gender equality is very paramount in what we do as human beings on the planet. And it's quite profitable. And that's what people are looking for when they are talking about investments, and they are talking about business in general. So as stock exchanges, through this stock exchanges, Sustainable Stock Exchange Initiative, UN Compact, and those other organizations, IFC, UN Women, they have all gotten together for a few years now. It's been like 5 years now that this practice has started to ring the bell to bring awareness about gender equality. So a bunch of research papers have been published before, showing and proving that actually bridging that gap between men and women can prove to be very lucrative for businesses, right, good for countries and companies alike. So one interesting statistic has shown that recently that by 2025, if we bridge the gap at least about 25%, reducing that gap between men and women, right, in business, it's likely to bring the GDP, to add GDP across the planet at about $5.4 trillion plus. So that's a very big statistic to look after. And same goes, it trickles down to your small business as a business owner. Right. So basically, for us to be gathering yesterday for ringing the bell, following in the footsteps of the other exchanges which have been doing that for the past month or so. It's a few weeks actually, during the week of March. That's when we celebrate International Women's Day on 8th of March. So across the globe, stock exchanges ring the bell to again remind people that this is an important aspect to look at in continuing our journey for sustainable development goals. So right, SDG 5 talks about gender equality.
Of course, just going back to some of the conversations that happened yesterday, of course, we did see the Rwanda Stock Exchange chairman there reiterating the need to ensure accessibility to the capital market services for female entrepreneurs. As the CEO, just elaborate more for us what this particularly means. More services for the females.
What it means that they should be looked at more seriously if they have businesses that are qualified. Of course, you can't look at you because you are simply a woman. That will be actually putting you down more than actually helping you. So, right, it's not an action of affirmative action. It's an action of saying that, look, women are able. Women can do business like everybody else. If they have business, right, they bring it on. And then we consider that business like any other business without discriminating.
Right. Let's move on a little bit to some interesting matters that we did see for the capital markets and the stock exchange. Of course, last week, it was on a Thursday that we saw BK Capital launching on the stock exchange. What new does it bring in the game?
Well, BK Capital has been in the market since 2013, if I remember.
6 years down the road,
so that's been a long time. Yeah. So what has happened? Basically, they have upgraded their membership to the stock exchange to now become a fully fledged investment bank. Along the way, they have also partnered with the Swan Group from Mauritius. It's a very big company, over 100 years old in this business. So to increase their offering menu. So I think it's a good move for Bank of Kigali, PLC. Right. As you know, the BK Capital is also a subsidiary of the group. Yeah. So to add to the banking sector and insurance sector that they have now created in a tech sector. So nowadays there's no such a thing as a bank. Banks now have become businesses like others. So that means you have to increase your menu, to increase your revenue streams. So one of them is, adding financial services deeper into investment banking. And I think looking at a country like Rwanda and looking at what investment banking has to offer, it's a big, it's a good move, I think, for the bank to look into this. So for us as a stock exchange, we see it as a positive move still also. Because there are so many services now, we look at from outside of the country.
Right.
And now if they are being able to be offered locally,
right,
it adds more value to the local market, it adds more value to local skills development, and therefore the general economic trends of the country. And the needs are very many for our economy because we don't really have that many investment banks in the market. They are registered, but they are not residing in Rwanda. So that means people just do briefcase kind of businesses. They fly in and out, and they get a deal, they go out. So nothing's remaining here in terms of skills development and transfers. So I think that one of being Bank of Kigali is a very good addition.
Right. Celestin, of course, we understand it's quite too early to ask you about the financials of the stock exchange Q1 or anything like that. But speak to me, who are we seeing gaining and who are losing at the markets?
In terms of, well, you know, we can look at the index. That's what I can tell you right now. From the look of things so far, the indices have gone down. The all share index is down. Since January, it's down about 4%, and the all share is about 1.2. So it's still around there. So the prices seems to be stable. We lost a few points here and there, but the market seems to be stable. But looking at fundamentals of the companies and how they have been performing so far, there is nothing to worry about in terms of what we have seen, the numbers we have seen so far. Companies seem to be, I'm not putting forward-looking statements, I'm talking about the past, what we have seen so far. Companies have performed well, and I expect probably most of them to give dividends. Some of them have already declared, but they are still subject to shareholder resolutions to agree actually to pass on those dividends to investors. So in general, most of the companies, actual companies, have grown this year on our market. Apart from Uchumi, of course, which is still struggling in Nairobi, but that's a cross-listing, so it's not really affecting much of our companies at large.